I think the Bears are
Okay.
no
Talk to
different
me.
right there.
Talk to me.
And so, in my mock scenario here, the Beloveds, they follow my favorite recipe for the draft. Most people would like to see him trade up at times to grab like an Abdul Carter. Some people would just say, stay put, grab the best available player. I follow along the lines of trade back, acquire assets, continue to build depth and quality starters for your team. And so, with that being said, we are going to dig into the mailbox. We're going to walk this street and select letters that I have personally put together for us. Of those 5 letters, I want you to tell me if any of those letters, or if all of them, because they're all possible scenarios right now. But one of them is going to make you feel real warm and fuzzy inside. So when I give you those trade scenarios, I want to know, would you accept one of them? Because you might not like any of them. If so, which one would you accept? Meaning, one of those you got to like the best, it says the best thing to you, or it makes the most sense. So we're going to listen to those, we're going to analyze, and I want to have you race to the phone on draft night to make this particular trade. And this would all include us to trade back from that beloved number 10 overall pick. Before we get into that, please, if you are here with us, like, share, and subscribe to the page. My dog is running frantically and scratching those nails across the bottom of the floor. So we're going to get right into it. And we are going to tell you about letter number 1. All of these traits will start from the closest pick to ours, meaning closest in proximity to 10, all the way down to the bottom. And so we start here. The Bears move slightly back in this trade. And this trade is with the Miami Dolphins. The Bears received the number 13th overall pick. They received a 3rd round pick, which is 98 overall. A 4th round pick also that is 108 overall. And they get those 3 picks in exchange for the 10th pick. This immediate return, I think, offers the team a chance to do damage in multiple rounds with having 2 picks in the 2nd round, 2 picks in the 3rd, and because we did give away a pick last year for our beloved Keenan Allen, I want to know if getting that 4th round pick back will kind of help us out. And so that right there in itself, let me repeat again for us all. The Bears take their 10th overall pick, repink. They trade back with the Miami Dolphins, and they receive a 3rd round pick, number 98 overall, a 4th round pick, number 108, and the 13th pick overall in exchange for the 10th pick.
Can I ask a question? So do you want to talk about these?
Go right ahead.
Go through them, or you want to? Okay.
I want you to go ahead and give me your inputs on all of them, and then we'll see which one is going to make the most sense to you.
Gotcha. I think so I'm not a fan of trading back.
Okay.
Unless you know unless you have something that you're targeting that is still going to be there. I don't necessarily like the idea of trading back just for the sake of trading back, just to get more picks. Because this is all a crapshoot. Like, you're rolling the dice on everybody from the top to the bottom. So unless you have somebody you're targeting that you think is still going to be available to you, I'm always a fan of getting the best talent at the time.
Okay.
And so that's just my take on it. I like the idea of picks, but they're not in any case guaranteed. And at the same time, I don't know that I want 10 picks in one draft class. I would like to sprinkle those about. But go ahead. That's kind of my thought.
That's interesting to me right there. And I say that only because I was listening to a metric today that kind of gave us credence to the fact that 70% of the most successful players in the NFL are found in rounds 3 through 5.
Okay.
And so
I can agree. I can understand that.
Yeah, and so I think that gives itself, Don, how you feeling today? The acquisition of picks to me gives me one thing and one thing only. And I know it's a dangerous thing to have, but it gives me hope. And I say hope in this way.
Hope.
It gives me hope in the opportunity that a young player that may be proven at the collegiate level, underrated or undetermined, will have his absolute opportunity. Miss Raquel Rose, how are we doing? To go ahead and bloom, show us his fullest potential, and do so at the most equitable rate. I'm all about the return on investment. And so right now, for example, we just acquired a guy by the name of Dayo Adangbo. I was wondering. It's a Dangbo. I didn't want to butcher it. And so, Odangbo is a 25-year-old. He's had flashes of showing you what he could be, and he's had the opportunity to prove that to you on a professional level. At the same time, there is a crapshoot to giving so much money to him in hopes that he will ascend to what you think he will be based on potential. Whereas,
and I would say that sports is one of those like rare professions where people pay for what projections, right? Very rarely are you being paid on what we hope you can do. Usually, it's the case of it's already proven. So that's a lot of money to spend on hope, but we do it all the time in sports.
And so, so it's just for me in terms of the way in which I might perceive it. It only just gives me a bit of clarity to understand that somebody so young can have the perfect opportunity to go ahead and be a Trey Smith for the future. Trey Smith was a 3rd-round pick, rather innocuous to most people. Nobody thinks he's replacing a 4-time All-Pro by the name of Joe Thuney or anybody else to that degree. But somehow in the midst of all of those things, you took a guy making $240,000. I'm just throwing out a number. It's totally off from a real number. But he's making way less money by the 4th year, and he's producing just like Mr. Adangbo. So, for example, we're going to go into the draft this year, and I hope that we have some defensive players that we go ahead and grab. And so if we can have those guys develop into Adangbo 2 years early and do it under the auspicions of the Bears drafting, grooming, and paying them less money, I think that it just gives you more ingredients or more recipes to put in your cookbook later on, as opposed to this alleged proven player. Because that proven player, I'm still going on the hope that he can sustain what he has done, as much as I'm hoping that these other guys can do the same. With that being said, I do understand why you don't prefer to trade back. But I prefer to trade back this year, and this year most, while we talking about trade backs, everybody. I prefer it because if it's been explained to me the most after about pick 7, things kind of taper off where people start to kind of be similar in stature to each other in terms of their draft performance or grades. And so if I think that so many people have similar grades, why would I pay a premium price to get the same product that everybody else gets? You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'll just say this like quick before we go into the other scenarios. But I think talent is dangerous. Talent can be a dangerous thing.
It can.
Right? Like people relying on talent, it gets you so far. And I mean, God bless you with, talent to get you to the pros, then, by all means, hats off to you, because that's a ridiculous amount of talent. I don't think anybody makes it there without having some talent. But it makes sense when you say between the 3rd and the 5th round, because everybody don't have that, success is opportunity met, preparation met by opportunity. If you have had talent, then you haven't had to prepare maybe in the same way. So at that 3rd and 5th round, by no means are we saying you don't have talent, because there's some preparation. You didn't come out the womb taking off from the free throw line and running a 4-1. In that middle of the road, right? And the middle of the road is still on the level of a professional athlete. There's some level of dedication and work ethic, and so I can see why those people have some success, because they have the right balance of all the tools, right?